Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading. This is your bonus reading for the month of April 2023. We're just going to see what is going on for you at this time. In your first row here for your current general energies, you have this fleeting card. It says you're in a transition phase in your career. It says if you keep going, if you keep faking it or winging it, you will end up going nowhere. You know what's really funny here, Pisces? Not to go off on a rant here, but like last week, I started to do a reading for you, and then something happened to my camera or whatever, and you had that card, and obviously that reading got ruined, so I didn't put it out, but and it was only like the first few seconds anyway, but it's just, sometimes when that happens, I end up just reshuffling and kind of like resetting and starting over, and again, you had that card, and it's kind of like standing out to me that for some of you, it's kind of like you're in this transition phase. Even the Four of Wands, it can represent marriage, of course, but really it's a card of freedom. You can see here this is the After Tarot, and they're in a cart, and I'll show you in a minute, but they're kind of like driving away from, this celebration or wedding or, whatever it is that they're doing. Really, it's a celebration. And, they're going to kind of commit to a new life. It's, I consider the Four of Wands to be a portal card. To me, it's a card of like stepping through a portal, completing one thing so that you can have another. And, I really feel a lot of you are in that kind of like that zone where you're going from like one thing to another. And I don't mean that like you're just jumping around here. This is like a, important transition that you're making. As always, like the past 2 or 3 readings, you've had the Sun and the Star. I don't think I've ever seen so many readings where, in a row, basically, where you've had the Sun and the Star. Could represent fame and fortune for those of you that are in the public eye or something like that, but doesn't have to be. To me, whenever I have the Sun and the Star, really good opportunity to get attention, which I've been saying to you for like ever. You have this Transporter card as well. It says things will manifest much sooner than you think. What else does it say? It says driver, stewardess, pilot, blah, blah, blah. This is an excellent time to travel, for work, to refresh the mind. Pisces, I'm a Pisces, as I always say. And as I always say, I travel all the time. And, most of you don't even know because, I pre-record sometimes and I go on a little, vacation or staycation or whatever it is that I do. So, it's like, it makes perfect sense to me that a lot of you, just based off the astrology, could be doing some traveling. And again, these don't even have to be like ridiculously long distances. It could be very short travel. But I feel those like vacation moments will be really good for you for recharging and things like that as well. I do feel travel here. You do have the World. So you have the Four Wands, the Sun, and the World. Really good row, right? But the thing is that the World is also a portal card, and it is a completion card. You can see that she's in the middle here, this sorceress, and, kind of represents the fact that she has accomplished something. She's a combination of every single energy that exists, Pisces. That's what makes her so powerful. Some people read her as like an intersex being because, again, she's a combination of every single energy that exists. And she's able to create worlds. So, I kind of feel like you're getting to that point where you are literally creating things. And, I know I've said this before, but if you're working on anything, I think you need to not sell yourself short. I think that's a very Piscean thing to do, to think that what you're doing doesn't matter as much as it actually does. And I really see you doing things that like people are going to be like, how the hell did you do that? It's like, I think I titled one of your last readings, people won't believe how far you've come or something like that. And I really get that. I'm not trying to like be clickbaity here or anything like that, Pisces. I genuinely feel that, people are going to be wondering, like, how have you been able to, accomplish something? You might be doing something or have done something behind the scenes, like some projects or businesses or things that you're working on here. I don't see you completing these things yet. I feel like you're kind of like in the development stage, I would say, but you're turning into a different person. As I said in like your last 2 readings, I think that your readings have really been saying people aren't going to recognize who you are anymore. And again, with Saturn in your sign, it makes perfect sense that you would be going through a transformation or a transition like this. Saturn forces us to change when it's in our first house, And it's not really forces, because I think we have a choice, as I always say. The beautiful thing about Saturn is we can get its rewards right away. We don't have to really wait. A lot of astrologers say, and it's true, most planets, it's like you don't get the rewards till the planet leaves a sign. So that'll be 3 years from now with Saturn and Pisces. But really, I have found in my life, and again, this is Chris's crappy astrology, not accurate astrology, right? I have found in my life when I work with Saturn in whatever house it happens to be in for me, that I get the rewards right away. It's like things work right away. I always say, like, one of my best years of my life was my Saturn return because I worked with it, and it turned out to be like one of the best years of my life. So, I always tell people, it's like, don't be afraid of Saturn. I think Saturn gets a bad rap. If you do the work, you're going to be perfectly fine, plain and simple. But again, you're really going through these big changes, Pisces. You have the sun, a lot of happiness coming in for you. Some of you, there could be communication coming in, and this could be new love that's coming in for you here. I just see it like, it's like a POC, a partner in crime here, Pisces. And so I feel if you're attracting a person, it really could be like, there's these two children on the sun. I kind of feel like I said this to you recently as well, because I think you had this card and I was talking about those two children really standing out to me. It's like you could be attracting a very childlike connection, and of course it could lead to marriage. I mean, Two of Cups, Hierophant, Star, something you've been dreaming or wishing of. It looks pretty good to me if you want love. Even if you don't want love, whatever you're committing to, I see, again, whether you do or you don't, doesn't matter. I see you committing to bigger and better things that kind of make you stand out. And again, I kind of feel like will be blowing people away over, probably over the next few years with the things that you're able to accomplish. Of course, you have to put the work in. If you don't do anything, nothing is going to happen. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but apparently I do. With the Four of Wands, here you go. Ace of Swords, definitely a victory coming in for you. And I would also say, I feel like this is something you've been waiting for here, Pisces. If you've been waiting for love, I feel like this could be kind of like a true love. It feels like a victory to me. I don't see it moving forward very quickly at first. It's kind of like one of those things. I feel like it starts out a little bit slow and then moves very quickly at a certain point here. I think it's going to challenge your boundaries with the Come to the Edge card. So, what I would say is that, that card kind of represents pushing yourself to a certain point where you would normally give up and then pushing yourself a little bit further. So, there might be some things about this coming in for you. I don't know. We'll have to see what comes up. But what I would say is I kind of get that feeling that there could be some things that, I don't think these things trigger you. They just make you, say, do I really want to put this energy in? But I feel like you do. So, I don't know. Let's see what comes up before I keep blabbering here. With the Sun, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Some sort of change in direction in your life. I feel like you've caused this change in direction because you made a change already. So, some of you, I feel have already been working on some changes in your life, maybe even before Saturn moved into Pisces, like maybe even at the end of last year and then the beginning of this year. I feel that some of you have been doing some things to change, and you're about to start seeing the fruits of your labor. I feel like things have been slow, is what I would say, Pisces. Just intuitively, really good reading, and I don't even know there's nothing really here that would represent slowness, but just like intuitively, I feel that, it's like it's been a very slow, I feel like saying slow burn, but I don't think that's the right word, because it's like you're not burning anything down or anything like that. It's more like it's just been, the results have been maybe a little bit slow. I think that the beautiful thing here is that you've stuck with it, like whatever it is that you've been trying to work on. With the World, you have the King of Wands here. Definitely could be a fire sign. You've been getting fire, and fire, by the way, fire over here. So it could be a fire sign. Could be any sign that's coming in for you if you want love, and could be any gender. But I do feel like it's someone who has a lot of desire for you. I kind of also feel like this is you. Every single reading that I've done for you for like the past few months, I'm pretty sure it's you, has had the King of Wands. I feel like you're very kind of bold, assertive. I would encourage you to move towards the Hierophant. To move towards the Hierophant, what do we have to do? We have to mix that kind of intuitive energy with grounding something in reality. The other thing I would say is Mars in Cancer. It's like with Mars being in Cancer, it's like Mars in Cancer is kind of like your intuition tells you to do something, and that's maybe all you have to go on is your intuition. And I feel like you need to go for it, like whatever you're being guided to do. Next, in the unexpected, you have this card that says, letter in a bottle. Your message has been received. So I feel like there's a message to the universe that you sent out. It's almost like the universe has been, the universe is responding to something that you desire. You have the Two of Cups, the Strength card. I feel like you've been patient. And you have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. To me, it's my card that says, when you know that you're going to be successful at doing something, then you will truly be successful. So I see a lot of success coming in here based off your beliefs. I feel like you're getting something that maybe you kind of started to believe doesn't exist here going to the Star card, because it's like Four of Cups, going this way, it's like the Four of Cups, he might be dreaming of the Star. He might have some sort of big dream goal, something that he wants to accomplish, maybe something that he idealized a little bit with the Four of Cups. But it's almost like, I'm not saying you're getting a second chance here, Pisces, but what I am saying is I feel like you're getting something that maybe you feel just doesn't exist. Could be true love, could be true business, whatever you want to call it. I feel like you've done the work, is what I would say here with the Strength card. Strength, she normally has her hands in that lion's mouth, and I always say, who in the right mind would stick their hands in a lion's mouth? And the answer is nobody. So, to me, it's a card of attention as well, which you have a bunch of cards of getting a lot of attention. And so she's doing something hard. She's putting her hands in the lion's mouth, but really it just represents the fact that she is, kind of challenging her own ego. She's overcoming her inner voice or her inner critic, and she's challenging it. She's making change in her life. And so I feel a lot of you, it's like you could be getting attention for overcoming things that you have overcome. The other thing is if you haven't done those things, I would start now, because again, Saturn and Pisces, if you do the work, you'll get the rewards. You have the Two of Cups. I definitely feel this is communication and love. Ace of Swords twice. Could be something long distance coming in for you here, Pisces, but this right here is a staff of Hermes, and I feel that there is communication coming in for you. So it's like someone is reaching out to you or something like that. Definitely could be a Leo. I get a lot of, but it could also just be a person who has Leo. Could be a fixed sign as well, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo, or a Capricorn. But what I would say here, or a Taurus. So Earth definitely stands out to me in this reading. So does fire. So basically everything. But what's standing out to me is I feel like this person's very different than your usual type. Again, I think it was 2021 or 2022, I can't remember now, that I did these love readings. Like the last time I did love readings was like 2 years ago, right? And what I would say is that everybody was getting this card, Two of Cups, and I kept saying that. I think that really it's just a sign of the times that we all could be, attracting someone or something that's very different. And it's probably because of this right here. I think we usually attract the same type of person because, a type of person can become a comfort zone. But I feel like you have overcome that with the Strength card. It's like you've overcome some sort of comfort zone and you're moving on to something else. Yeah. With the Two of Cups, you have the Fool. You have the World in your first row. As I always say in the Major Arcana, we go from the Fool to the World, and then we just start all over again. So there's clearly a new cycle coming in for you. I feel like this is a better cycle in love to me. I mean, marriage. You know what I mean? This is like a dream come true, something you didn't think existed. With the Strength card, you have the Strength card. So basically, the universe saying I meant what I said. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Nine of Cups. Yes, you need to believe in the impossible here, Pisces. I know I say this to you every single reading, but again, Neptune and Pisces plus Saturn and Pisces, literally do the math, right? I failed math my whole entire life. How I graduated high school, as I always say, is a miracle, right? How I even got into college, a miracle, because I never passed algebra, ever, right? Literally, my college class, I had to take dummy algebra, right? And literally, the teacher, it was a class for people who are so bad at math, he only took 2 tests from the entire class, and that was your grade. Nothing else counted. That's how bad I am, right? Here, Pisces. But the math adds up to me here. It's basically you take your dreams, Neptune, these crazy ideas, and then add Saturn, add action. You can have whatever you want, even if it seems impossible. But, it's time to start, bringing those things down to earth. Next, in the area of what you need to hear right now, you have this new moon in Gemini. It says, think it through. Yeah, I wouldn't rush into anything at this time. I also kind of feel like there's kind of gold where you are. There's this belief that, a lot of people think if I leave my situation, my life will get better. You have the Four of Cups, the grass is greener on the other side. But really, it's we can get everything we want in the situation we're in right now. So I feel like for some of you, it's you could be thinking, I have to leave my job or my business. And I'm not saying, by the way, if you're in a bad situation, leave, okay? I feel like I shouldn't have to clarify this stuff, but apparently I do. Again, if you're in a bad situation, don't stay stuck. Of course, leave. But for most of you, again, if you are just thinking if I leave this job, it'll, I can find something better. Or if I leave this relationship, I can find something better. And again, someone always leaves a comment how dare you say people stay in abusive relationships? Never said that. Those words never left my mouth. Obviously, again, if it's abusive, leave. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain this. But if it's good, but maybe it's just not as spicy as you want, I would say spice things up, right? You literally have the Hierophant here, the Four Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. The Hierophant just says that pretty much education can be your best friend, so learning as much as you can. about a situation could improve it. And I do feel like you're doing a lot of learning. I also feel like you're doing a lot of connecting as well. He's the bridge between the heavens and the earth. He kind of connects the two. I feel like this is you, Pisces. This is your energy. Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. Hierophant. Might as well be. So I feel like you are kind of like connecting the two things, and that is your job, of course, is to get as much, like right here, sun and the star. Your job in the world is to, show people how to do it, basically. I've been saying this for years because of how difficult, like a few years ago, you had Uranus in your second house in Aries, which is like the worst place that it can possibly be, period, for anyone, right? And so very challenging. So it's like you had a very challenging 8 years a few years ago, starting a few years ago back, right? I know it's always very confusing when I try to explain this, but, it's like you had a very difficult few years. I think that you were put on this path so that you can inspire other people, as I always say, so that's what I'd be doing here. You have the Four of Cups. Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. You've had your fair share of disappointments, but I feel like the universe is like, hey, there are some victories and some wins coming in for you. You have the Wheel of Fortune. The whole entire reading's about a transition. Really, to me, I like the Wheel of Fortune, but sometimes I think people make it sound a lot better than it actually is. It's a good card. Definitely can represent a change in your fortunes. But it's a card that represents your personal vision for your life, but it's your personal vision for your life. It is your destiny, how you see it. And, really we have to take control of the wheel to make it happen. And the secret with the Wheel of Fortune is we want to be at the middle of the wheel. When we're at the middle, it's like good things and bad things can enter into our life. But when we're at the center, it's like we're not just spinning around. We can actually control what is happening. With the Hierophant, you have the Hermit here. I feel like you're holding back, Pisces. Hermit to the star. The Hermit kind of has the star in his lantern. And I feel like something you've learned needs to be shared, with the world, with a person, with your business. I kind of get this energy of being vulnerable here in this reading. And I don't mean, like doing something that's going to put you in danger. I just mean, I feel like your vulnerability is going to be the thing that really attracts a lot of people to you. And I'm not just talking about love here. I'm talking about like business or work. It's like being open, honest, Ace of Swords twice, bold, assertive, just saying whatever you think, putting things out there, or trying your wacky ideas. Like all these things are going to make you very successful. With the Four of Cups, you have the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is a card of conflict and competition. It's funny because this Seven of Wands it always reminds me of the Five of Wands. It's like there are people fighting here, and this guy's having to defend his position on the top of a hill. So I feel for some of you that going this way, it's like this is saying that you no longer have to fight for your star, for something that you truly desire, that you truly want. I also do feel it's encouraging you to push yourself. Again, Four Cups, it's kind of like he's disappointed, but sometimes I think he needs to mix those cups together. Five of Wands is a card I call Indiana Jones. To me, it's a card of kind of going on some sort of crazy adventure to find your treasure, but you have to go on the adventure. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Five of Pentacles here. Some of you could feel left out in the cold. Or you could be feeling left out in the cold. But again, I really feel this is something that's about to change. And I feel like you've kind of taken your power back with the Strength card showing up here twice. At the end, for the good stuff, doesn't matter what shows up here. It's going to be good no matter what. You have this Come to the Edge card. So again, this is a card of kind of like pushing yourself to that point where you would normally give up, and then pushing yourself a little bit further. So it says, obviously, don't give up, but, it also kind of says, like, push yourself, because that's where success is. You have the Star, the Ten of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. I feel like you've released something. I also feel like you're focusing on the right things. You can see that he's dropped all these wands, but he's holding on to one wand, which might not be as much of a burden. So I feel for a lot of you, you've been doing a lot of, like, shedding, a lot of releasing, and all those other things. And so I feel like you're lightening your load and making things a little bit easier. I actually been getting that for you for a couple weeks. I'm pretty sure I said it to you last week. It's almost as if, I'm not saying like, your work life is going to become super easy or anything like that, but it's almost like you're making things less complicated, which does make it easy. I hope that makes sense, where, you could be developing a new daily routine. Maybe you're just working smarter instead of harder. It's like all those things are popping into my head, especially for work and career. And that's exactly what I would be doing if I were you. You have the Star. So again, wish fulfillment. I feel like something is giving you a lot of faith. Something is making you feel hopeful again. I really feel like you're returning to your, like, it's kind of almost like you're returning to your childlike self with the sun card at the beginning of the reading. I feel like you're feeling more childlike, more like you can be your old self. And I don't, obviously I don't know who your old self is, but I feel like you just feel like and it could just be because you're being honest with yourself or whatever the case may be, but it feels good. I feel like it's like the beauty of this is I feel it's motivating you. I feel like it's, kind of progressing you and all this other stuff. You have the Ace of Swords, which is definitely a victory here, and it could also be the truth, I feel like you have the Ace of Swords twice, which could just be saying that you're telling yourself the truth about, like, what you want in life, the direction you want to go in life, and it could definitely represent a victory. I also feel like you're very focused. Again, he's got one wand here he's focusing on. Ace of Swords, my card, a laser-like focus, so I feel like you could be focusing on the right things. With the Star, you have the Knight of Pentacles here. Definitely, I feel like you need to get moving. Knight of Pentacles, no movement, but I do feel there could be an Earth sign coming in for you as well. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Death card. Definitely a transformation coming in for you. I feel like you're going through a big transition. I really feel it's a transition. I know those sound like the same word, but I feel like it's different. I feel like it's not necessarily a transformation. I feel it's more kind of like you kind of stepping into who you really are anyway. It's like a transformation is like doing something different. I feel like you're becoming who you really are. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Three of Cups. Definitely a celebration that could be coming in for you. If this is like a person here that's coming in for you, that's communicating with you, I feel like there could be some obstacles going this way. Like, again, it could be like distance with the World card or maybe they work a lot or something like that. But I feel like this person is kind of like a triple threat. I do think they're like equivalent to like three people. I feel like and what I mean by that is it's not a third party. I feel that this person has a lot to give. So, very giving person. We're going to pull 5 main themes now and see what comes up. You have the Service card. I didn't even really need to look at this card. I knew something like this was going to come up. Anything you can do to be of service. Of course, you're a Pisces. Anything you can do to make someone else's life better, I think would be very beneficial for you at this time. So, and I also feel like people are going to be very generous with you at this time as well. You have this Doctor card. I would definitely stay healthy. Mercury retrograde this month, so anything you can do to stay healthy would obviously be a good idea. Again, I am not a doctor, so do not take this as medical advice, but I would just do whatever you can. The Star kind of represents resting, relaxing, recovering, so make sure to do that. You have the Death card here as well, so definitely a transition or a transformation coming in for you. Next, you have this Thief card. I would be careful of anything coming back from the past. Mercury retrograde could be like a thief of joy, someone who tries to steal your happiness. So I would be careful. Can we get more details on this? Yeah, you have this Melancholy card. It definitely could be a person who's sad or who's missing you. But again, this could kind of upset you if a past person comes back. So, Mercury retrograde, I would definitely be careful here, Pisces. And finally, you have this Pleasure Seekers card. So definitely, I think it's time for you to focus on fun, joy, happiness, all those good things. I love this reading. I think you need to kind of focus on accomplishing something impossible in your life, something you never thought you would do. So, because I think that'll probably obviously lead to the biggest change. But this looks really good. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your month.